All right. Hello, my CNC brothers and sisters. Guess who's back again? And she's going to be coming more regular. And I've got our CNC sister, Kate, the Vectric and epoxy and CNC router expert on board, and the leader of Women Who CNC. What's going on, Kate?
Woo, not much. Well, it looks like as soon as I popped on, I said, you have a new background and I have a new background. Mm-hmm. So it's a new night for a new background.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And this will be my story moving forward. I am officially completely in my new house and my new shop. Still got a CO2 laser and a CNC router at the old shop. Debating on whether to get them up here, but I think the consensus is going that way. Let's say hello to everybody. First of all, welcome to another CNC Wednesday hangout, where we get to chew the CNC fat and bring on CNC experts and handle your CNC questions or other CNC related questions. So Kate knows the drill. So Kate, let's first say hello to some folks.
All right. Well, let's start off strong with Mr. Jack in the shop. Hey, Jack. So I'm going to run through some names. We have Oz. Midnight Sun Woodwork. Hello. Gary Lynn. Of course, you guys know Julianne and Liberty are with us. Terry from Doggone Productions. I love that.
I love that name. I love these unique names. It's just fun.
I know. I love seeing some of the new names. So we have Benny A. Looks like Jeff. We've got Mark Lindsay on board. Hey, Mark. Raymond Dixon. Oh gosh, let's see. CNC Bits.
So Ray Dixon. CNC Bits. That's Bill Keys. He was on with us last week.
Yep.
He's out of Canada. And what's going on there, brother Bill?
It was a good show.
Yeah, he was a special guest last week. And Ray, I met him over at the Vectric meetup, and he gave me a couple of bits that he would like us to inventory, and other people have asked about that too. So just Ray, we are working on it. There's just have so much bandwidth, but yeah, I'm working on a brand new router bit that is consuming a lot of two new bits. That's consuming a completely new design. It's going to blow the hog and the beast and those roughing bits out of the water.
That sounds exciting.
Don't worry, you'll know before everybody else does. Let's continue with some of the hellos.
All right, so it looks like we've got Misty Woods, Dion, as you guys all know, WXX. We've got John Whitney, Ernie, Ralph, GRB Woodworking, Robert, Tim, Vince, STL Working. Hey, Greg, Donald, Anita, Richard, Rocco, Gary, Brooks. Looks like Ed Eggers, Ken, Carrie, Barry.
Oh,
Rhyme. Ken, Carrie, and Barry.
All right. Well, I like this one. The Best Man 12NA.
I didn't see that one. I must have missed
that just said hello.
Okay.
So, okay. Well, folks, here's the story tonight. We are going to keep this a general open CNC thing. When you ask your questions, put a question mark in front of it or the word question, so that Julianne can start. Liberty is not on board at the moment.
Okay.
So just bring your questions on, CNC related. We can do whatever. You got a Kate here who's the epoxy genius, and she has had her like everybody else. We've all had our lessons in life to figure things out. But boy, I tell you what, that builds the skill. They say in life you don't learn without adversity. If I ask Julianne or Liberty, if Liberty comes on board tonight, a question to do something, then of course we all have to have our drink. I do not have my IDC cup with me tonight. So
ooh, I like that. Is that a coffee cup or a mug?
This is a handmade coffee mug. So
that's my kind of coffee mug.
Yeah. We have an art festival here every year, a big art festival.
Yeah.
And so I like that the handmade stuff. So none of my coffee mugs are the same. None of
I
them.
love it.
Yeah. And by the way, folks, my coffee cup collection is not like completely full like most people's cabinets are. With it drives me nuts when I see 100 coffee mugs and they're going, what will you ever use all those?
I have like maybe 15 or 20 between my husband and I, and each one, like I try to weed them out, and I'm like, this one has significance, and so-and-so gave me this one, but I really like the way this one holds my coffee, but I really like this one.
Yeah. Yeah. The weird way we are, but well, that's the value of CNC, folks. This is what CNC is all about, right? This, like coffee mugs, we have our special coffee mugs, but us as creators can make so many things, and so unique. By the way, I am working on a project that Kate, actually comes from a piece of wood that you gave me. This big piece of ash right here.
Oh Lord, I remember that demon piece.
Actually, quite a bit thicker. I tested the Badger out on this, and that's what I set my fins and speeds to. So that's a heavy piece of wood. I am making a. Let me bring that up. I'm working on the design. Then I'm going to do a video on how I'm going to do this complete design.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm going to bring this up and show you all. So can you see it?
Yeah.
So let me just. So that is what it's going to look like, right there.
Very cool.
It's a card holder. I'm still finagling with the design, but folks, I'm doing lots of different things. So this is going to be this video that I do. It's going to be a very interesting video because I am doing lots of different techniques on this, and I'm using the molding tool path to create this pocket here. That took quite a bit of thinking. We're going to do the 3D reliefs on it, or the 2.5D relief, and so I'm still kind of thinking about how to work this. So it's a fun little project. This is for my niece Isabel. One of her arms doesn't work after she had the brain surgery with cancer, and so she needs a card holder because we play lots of games.
Yeah, I love that. That's so creative. That's awesome. I like the little space for maybe like dice or something. Is that what that's for?
Yeah, well, we play a game called Catan as well.
Oh yeah,
and that has lots of little pieces to it. And that's our favorite game to play. Oh, we got to just let all know that who's in the background here. Let's bring Julianne out. So, yep, there's the boss. It's Julianne, the IDC Woodcraft administrator. Folks, she'll be in the background chewing the fat with you and making sure that we all keep straight. And if we lose connection, she's Johnny on the spot and jumps right in.
Do my best.
Yep.
We try.
We do. We don't try. We just do.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. All right. Well, folks, it is bring your questions on. We may not go as late tonight. Generally we go a couple hours, but we may cut back a little bit tonight. And we got some questions in the queue already, Kate. So, and folks, this is, I was talking to Julianne earlier. First opportunity to drink. Where because I pre-asked her pre-show, I said when these questions come up, let's start logging these questions because I can create videos on these. Because if one person has a question, 100 people have a question, right? The same question.
True.
And I am on a video rampage now. So
I saw you released several new videos. I was like, wow, look at him go.
Yeah. Well, I got some big stuff coming up next year, and so I got to get the content out.
Well, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So you're before we get to questions, Cody's on board too. Cody from the Virginia guy. What's going on, Cody, brother? Yeah. So what's going on in the shop for you? You've been sending me some really cool pictures that you can't show right now, can you?
Yeah. So I've been working on your table. I've been making some really good progress on it. I got it onto my big 4x8 table tonight out in the shed. I've been trying to take advantage of this really nice weather. And so I finally got the backside completely surfaced. It looks so good. I mean, obviously I still have some sanding and all the good polishing and all that stuff to do. And then I got to flip it over. But I've surfaced the one side. Thankful that's done. Even with I mean, it sounds crazy, but even with a big, like, I think it's like a 2.5-inch surfacing bit and the 3/4 horse router, it still is just, it just takes time. I mean, you know, because you don't want epoxy to chip. You've got to get the right speed. You've got to get the right feed, all the good things. And so that's has its challenges for sure. But I'd say probably up until like at least an hour ago, I sent Garrett a picture and I was like, had my goggles on, I had my mask on, had my headphones on, had all the things on. And I was like, had a big sweatshirt on. I was like covered from like head to toe.
Yeah. I'm gonna. So this is a river table that Kate has been working on, an epoxy river table. I'm actually gonna send that picture to me so we can show folks what we're working on.
Yeah.
And so Kate is becoming the mega epoxy queen here now. So, yeah, it's super cool, super cool. I'm excited because it's going to look really, really good in my place. So I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to share this screen. Here we go. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's go there.
Show, but...
That's the one you're showing. You did the surfacing on it.
Yep.
So
that's the back. That's the back side of it.
Yeah. How big is this table, just for scale, so people can tell?
It is about 28 by 48.
That's a nice size table.
Mm-hmm. It is. And that's just the back side of it. So it's kind of neat where that big curve goes out. You remember where that fin was or whatever? I kind of had to knock off a lot of that fin because it was just creating a ton of bubbles and problems for me.
Right.
But when I have a different video I sent Garrett and I had just demolded the whole thing and I tipped it up and it's still really transparent, even though it has like the different layers of dimensional blue in it. And then it kind of has, it almost looks like it like deep, like it's just really hard. I'm going to have to post a YouTube video about it, but it looks really cool because it was like a deeper blue and then it went just a little bit more transparent each layer. And I did do deep pour on each one, so it still looks really cool because it's like a 2-inch table at this point. So,
okay. Well, you know what? When I come to pick it up, we'll shoot a video and we can talk about it and all the things you had to work on with it and talk about it. Yeah. So if you have epoxy questions tonight, you can throw those out too. And our brother Ed, Ed Eggers, 110. He said, "Come on, people, hit the thumbs up button. You know you're going to get some good stuff here." All right. So hit the thumbs up button right below the video there. All right, Kate, you ready to hammer out some? Oh, before we start hammering questions, next week, folks, Kyle Ely from Learn Your CNC, the all-time Vectric master, is going to be on board. So bring your Vectric questions next week. Definitely want to show up. The week after that is Matt from 731 Woodworks. You've probably seen him on YouTube. He's got probably about 800,000 subscribers. Does a lot of woodworking. Yeah, not just CNC. He does a lot of woodworking too. Brother Bill is on board. William, what's going on? Bill Coleman, William Coleman. All right, let's handle some questions, Kate. Let's start rocking these out.
All right, let's do it.
I don't know if you have a cue. Yeah.
He says, "Hi all, happy early Thanksgiving. How do you take a project out of a design? Example, wrong bit depth and forgot to space out the letters correctly." How do you take a project out of a design? I'm not sure what you mean as far as.
Let's interpret this. Okay. We got wrong bit. Oh, there's Liberty. Everybody give Liberty a little hello. She just popped in. We're just going to pop her in real quick so she can say hi. There she is, the shipping queen from IDC Woodcraft. Everybody give her some love. She'll be chatting with you in the background. Thanks for coming in, Lib. All right. Wrong depth.
So I'm not sure what you mean by wrong bit depth and forgot to space out the letters correctly. I'm trying to break this down.
Yeah, Gary, do me a favor and be a little more elaborate on that question. And Julianne, watch for that, and then let us know. So we're going to pull that one back and pop it off. All right, let's hit John Whitney. Oh, this isn't for you and me.
Julianne, would you please, when you get a chance, would you please thank Garrett for the surfacing help?
Ah, okay. Wait a minute. Hold on. I got to bring Julianne up. Julianne, do you have something to tell me?
Yeah. I think I have to thank you on behalf of John Whitney for the surfacing help.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, tell John I said thank you.
John,
you're welcome. Tell him you're welcome. All right.
You're welcome.
All right. Oh, folks, if you are new to CNC or to this live, make sure you let us know in the comments, because all of us are going to get on board and do the happy dance for you. All right, John, you're welcome. I guess we're talking about a couple of videos that I put out. Let's see. Tim.
All right. He says, how come the hog recommended speed is slower than the beast? Aren't they the exact same except the length?
Okay, I guess I have to answer that question, don't I?
Well, I know the answer, but I know you know the answer more, so I'll let you give everything.
All right, okay. Let's so for folks that don't know what he's talking about, the hog and the beast. So we have these rougher bits that we call the hog, the beast, the badger, and we have the ripper. Now we have the long ripper, and I can't remember the name that Greg from STL Woodworking gave us for the other one, the slayer, right, and the long slayer. So we now have 3/8 roughing bits out and 1/2-inch roughing bits. Girls, put a link in for the roughing bits. You can just do a search on the website for roughing and put that in there so you all can see it. We don't have that many of the larger ones in stocks, the 3/8 and the 1/2-inch. So if you want them, you better jump on them, because they usually, when people find out, they take off. So I'm just gonna share screen, and let's do roughing for the website. Boy, my website I got my thing set up pretty high. Okay, there we go. So the hog, there's the hog. And when you get a close look at that, you can see it's very serrated. And hey, Julianne, make a note, this picture is not updated. So these bits are zirconium carbonitride coated. So the coating gives them a life of about 3 to 4 times longer. So anyway, so you can see it's got the serrations in it. The hog, this is the hog here, and the beast is a shorter one. And the reason for the feed rate differences, so we have the hog set at 80 inches per minute and the beast set at 130 inches per minute, is because it's much shorter. The beast has a much shorter flute length, and so the core of that comes out faster. So I have tapered flutes, all right, and it's just a stockier bit just because it's shorter. So it's just a stronger bit, less prone to break, and so that's why we can run at much higher feed rates.
I will personally say I love the hog bit. It's probably one of my all-time favorite bits.
It tends to be the consensus because the reason those bits exist is because when you have to do a large clear out of a project, you are using your standard flute, your standard bits, your standard 1/4-inch down cutter or up cutter, and all that work to remove that material is wearing down that tool. And so the hog and the beast and the ripper and the slayer and the badger, those are designed to just chew up that material as it's running through. So you can just run it a lot faster, and it removes. What's your experience with these things, Kate? Why is it your favorite bit? One of your go-to?
So the reason the hog is my personal favorite is because the searing on it is not so tough that it's like brutal to get the witness marks out, if you will. because I can run it like on my orbital sander, like different projects and whatnot, and I can basically just kind of buff those right out. When I use the Beast, the upcut action is so rough on it, it tends to cut the top of the material, and it has a much harder like witness marks, for lack of better, like people to try and understand what I'm saying. It just they're a lot deeper. And so I get it if you're trying to hog out a bowl or something like that, and you're going to come back in and you're going to clean it out, because I've done things like that with that. I made a big bowl out of some English walnut and then made like an epoxy flower like inlay. And then basically I dropped it into it, and that was perfect because it really didn't matter. But that's one of the reasons I really like the hog. I also like the hog because it's almost like the perfect length to get through a lot of wood very, very quickly. The Beast, yes, is shorter and stockier if you're doing, I don't know, maybe like ring trays or little catch-all trays and things like that are very shallow. The Beast would be a great option for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the witness marks she's talking about, you saw those little serrations in there. So that's going to leave serrations on the side of your project. So you have to leave a little bit of material left before you actually run your finish cut. But it puts so much less work on your finish bit. And Greg said, Kate, wait till you try the Slayer. All right, the 3/8 one. Yeah, Greg did the testing for us on that. And yeah, because I need to know more than just me running it. It's very helpful to have someone like that. Yeah.
Well, I was there was something I was going to say about the other thing is I bought or I think you gave me the hog to try out when you first came out with it. Mm-hmm. I still use it at least once or twice a week since I've had it. It really? Still cuts just as beautifully. I don't break bits very often. If I do, it's like I'm just being an idiot and not paying attention, or my brain's doing too many other things. And it's like just like a dumb mistake. But yeah, I've had the same Beast bit since the original when it first came out, and it still works great. For the hog, I'm sorry, the hog.
Gotcha. All right, well that's good to know. All right, let's hit John's. Says, let's see, I'm making. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Kate.
That's okay. I'm making these really neat custom carved handgun boxes, but I'm having a hard time making a price for them. Any tips?
Oh boy, I like this question.
Well, I'll let you take it then, because I'm sitting here kind of thinking about it.
All right. So handgun boxes. So number one, the good thing is number one, this is a niche that is a pretty big niche. All right, gun lovers. All right, you have people who are very passionate about guns in the U.S. And there's a lot of people that like to have these special projects like this. So the nice thing about this, John, is that there's a higher emotional value to this type of project. And especially when you start bringing up, like in discussion, you start talking about the First Amendment, Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, right? And you start talking to people like that, that brings the emotions to the top, right? And when you have someone when you bring that passion to the top, right, you let them bring that up, and you dialogue, and it naturally they're going to be on it and talk about it, right? And that kind of stuff, when you can share a passion like that, and okay, so this is the kind of stuff that you can actually charge a nice penny for. Mm-hmm. You really can.
So I was going to kind of throw in my 2 cents as you're sitting here talking about these emotional feelings. Yeah. So last year for Christmas, we have our one of our older sons. He is 20. How old is Chandler? He's 23. Just got out of the military, and my husband bought him a really nice Ruger, and he had his buddy. I can't remember what it's called, like a powder coating, and he had like his initials and the Punisher put on top of it, and all kinds of stuff for when he got out of the military. And I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, what do you buy a kid, an adult kid, that can basically get what he needs, but like you don't want to buy him an appliance or something kind of goofy. I have to be extra thoughtful in all my gifts. So I was just like, this would be a really cool gift to get him. And then if John could personalize it, that's the icing on the cake. You could even charge extra for personalization if you're like stocking things, if you're stocking certain models or just doing certain things, like that would be really cool.
Yeah, totally. So pricing on something like that, put it this way, the more passionate, the more you can charge, right? So something like this, when you have something like a special gift, like someone like that, and you can get into that you can charge $400. Someone had spent a lot of money to have that Ruger fixed up, right? Or Cody from Cadence CNC, the guy that makes the Jenny bits. He makes gun stock handles, pistol, the grip part.
Yeah.
He carves those out on the scene. I've seen many people do that. They make custom grips. Right.
I have no idea.
Yeah, people are willing to really pay for that. What I will say, John, is I would study a little bit of the market, but I also say that you want to elevate your look at the market. You can look at Etsy, but don't look at Etsy's prices because they're going to be too low. They're going to be too low. But look at Etsy for what people are doing. Kind of study what the market's doing, and then start to study like off-site kind of stuff. Maybe talk to a couple of gun shops. Start to get a feel that way, because I don't sell that type of product. Personally, I might, if I had somebody I knew was passionate about it, but since I don't have I'm not a super passionate gun lover. I have my own guns, but it's not like like some people, right? I don't have the rebel flag, put it that way. And I would pay $150, $200 for a gift for somebody if there's like someone in the family. But you could double that easily.
Yeah.
If you have someone who's really passionate, or they have a spouse who's really passionate about it, then that spouse is going to, this is your big gift.
I would say you probably need to do like some market research as far as where your item would sell best, because maybe just throwing it out on Facebook Marketplace may not be like your ideal. It's not going to be your ideal market. So you're really going to want to figure out where your niche audience is at.
Yeah. One of the things to be careful with on that, though, too, is so these public forums like Facebook Marketplace, Facebook in general, Etsy, they have to have rules and regulations around firearms, tobacco, and alcohol. Yeah. Right. So you definitely want to study that. Yours can be word of mouth. Yours can be at shows, gun shows, things like that. So
that would be ideal, especially with the Christmas coming up and the market, all the Christmas markets and Thanksgiving markets and all the things.
I would say that I love this conversation because it's a very interesting niche. So folks, for those of you thinking to get into CNC business, right, this is the way you want to think, right? You things like this is a niche product, and it's got a very strong emotion behind it for a lot of people. So John, and folks, we're not just talking about this particular type of thing. I want you to think of what we're sharing with John here. I want you to think in all aspects of CNC and what you may be wanting to make. Right? So for John right now, the magic bullet is wives of gun lovers. This is the time. This is the time, Christmas time, and of course birthdays.
Yes. Yeah. And especially even maybe around tax time, things like that. I mean, I know it sounds kind of crazy, but a lot of people do their taxes early and things like that. And they may want to a lot of families do later Christmases, like after the new year. I've heard of that's kind of a newer thing because December is so like bananas. But I would suggest if you did something like if you went into a small gun store or something like that and asked them if they would be willing to put your product out, especially if it's a locally owned gun shop. Give them your business cards, take a couple of samples, or even if you do a show, just make a handful of samples. Don't like stress yourself out to the point that you need to have 90 gun boxes and make bananas. Just take like maybe 5 or different models or whatever you're going to offer and take orders.
No, yeah. You can have the same basic box and then have different cutouts in the box for each type of pistol. Yeah, gun shops. That's another one you can do pass through. They'll get a markup. But hey, Jerry has donated a $20 donation. 'Tis the season to show gratitude. Thank you all for that you do. Thank you, Jerry. Yep, and we got the ladies in the background. Folks, the donations that you gave us for me to take them out to dinner to the steakhouse. We did that a couple weeks ago. Food was good.
Can't beat a good steak.
Yeah, the way Jerry made his contribution is right below the YouTube IDC Woodcraft YouTube video. There's a little $sign, and that's the way you can share the love for us taking the 4 of us taking the time out to work with you for this evening. Thank you, Jerry. All right. I really like that business conversation.
I do too.
Yeah. Mike says, Garrett, can you scan the new house so we can see your new shop? The new shop is about ready. I will do another video, like a weekend update video, and I will share what I've got set up.
There you go. That sounds exciting.
Yeah. All right. Handle this one, Kate.
All right, Ricardo, is it worth upgrading to the SLB for my long mill? I feel like I'm getting some binding or skipped steps. I'm wondering if that could help.
Darn it, that question goes back to me. So the SLB is the super long board. It's the controller that CNC Labs has come out with. And it's one that they've designed up, and it's intended to be a lower cost open source controller for a CNC router that is like, so they have the Masso controller, which is basically on the level of industrial controller. All right. The SLB is an open source controller where a lot of people are going to start developing plugins for that. But it has the ability to become comparable to the Masso.
Nice.
So yeah, and so Ricardo, the question he's asking is about the super long board, and so here's the answer to the super long board. And folks, Julianne or Liberty, get the super long board. Give these folks a link for that. So just because that way I have to take a drink. So for those of you of the long mill CNC, what Ricardo's running into. First of all, Ricardo, number one is just make sure you get, just do a little maintenance on it. Make sure your screws are oiled up, just light. I use a very light oil on mine and a very light amount of oil. And the bearing rails that are up and down on a long mill. So it has the wheels that make it move back and forth that way. It's got the bearing rails that go up and down. Make sure those are cleaned up, because even though they have wipers on them, then the sawdust can get down inside those rails. And Kate, by the way, you definitely want to get inside of yours too, because the same thing happens on the Infinity, even though you have a different kind of rail system.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, Ricardo, to your question, the super long board does put out more power to the motors, so that will help with the skipping that you're feeling. I'm figuring you're probably getting skipping though, because you're getting maybe just getting a little dirty in there or something like that. Mm-hmm. But the super long board is an inexpensive board. I think it's like $250. I don't know. The girls put a link in the comments, and make sure you put it down in the description as well. So yeah, that Should help. I'm getting the I'm getting a super long board for my long mill. I've got the standard long board on it, but I have the 80 millimeter spindle on there. That's a ton of weight, right? So I definitely want to get more power to those stepper motors.
Yeah.
Right. And I mentioned this maintenance thing because mine started doing a little funny stuff on the Z, and so it actually the project I was working on for a video. That video will be out next week. The Z started messing up on it, so I talked to CNC Labs because I was asked. I figured it's not having, it needs more power for that really heavy spindle. But that's where Chris at Long Mill or at CNC Labs said, reminded me about this dust that can get in the bearings.
Yeah.
So I forgot about that. I used to work with those things all the time.
Maintenance is a huge part of owning a CNC. You can't just run it, expect it not to have issues. I mean, it's a machine. You got to treat it like a car for a vehicle or a truck or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Regular maintenance on it, it'll run forever. I mean,
yeah, I think Jack in the shop shared this. So the SLB is $165.
There you go.
And that'll open up a lot of opportunities for your CNC router in the future as well. I think it was Jack in the shop that said, if you don't do maintenance on your machine, if you don't schedule your maintenance for your machine will schedule it for you.
Words to live by.
Yeah. All right. Handle Dan's question.
All right. So we've got Danny. I want to do a board with reverse raised text on one side like a stamp and the word displayed correctly on the back. I want to do an inlay that goes all the way through. Any advice? Okay. So I want to do a board with reverse raised text on one side like a stamp. Okay. So you're going to have to do what I would suggest would be a two-sided carve. To start with, like a stamp. So you're going to have to do your pocket cut, but only go so far deep if you're wanting it to be raised like a stamp. If I'm reading this correctly, raised text on one side and the word displayed correctly on the back.
So he has to reverse the words.
Yeah, I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it sounds to me like he wants to do a V-carve inlay that goes all the way through, and he's going to import and put that inlay in from the back.
Yeah, maybe.
Is that the way you interpret that one?
Kind of, but not really. So I want to do a board with reversed raised text on one side.
I'm going to play.
Like a stamp.
So I'm gonna try to do something like that and see what I can do.
And the word displayed correctly on the back. I get what they're saying. Okay, Garrett is correct. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
So
let's do. First thing I'm doing here is mirroring text. I'm going to give that a shot, and that works perfect. So, yep. Yeah, I just did it. I just did a mirror. So I'm just going to show you all. And then what you'll have to do is you'll have to, obviously, once you carve that and mirror it, it's the back side that's got to turn out the right way, right? So you'll have to definitely look through it. It's an interesting concept to do, but.
Yeah, I'm just trying to in my brain, I'm trying to think why not just do a normal inlay. Like, I don't know. I guess my brain is not as sharp as it used to be.
Yeah. Well, there's different ways that we do our stuff. So it's an interesting technique. So that's what I like about it.
It's definitely giving my brain a run for its money.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I love it when people ask questions like this. My favorite one was the pizza peel. All right. So people kept asking me, how do you do a taper on a pizza peel? So I kept asking the experts, oh, you have to do drive rails and you have to do 3D models. And I said, this got to be simpler for people who don't know. And I figured it out. You just do it with a V-carve and the right angle bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It was brilliant. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so smart. Okay. Oh, crud. I just stopped my share. So the first thing I would say, Dan, is mirror your text. All right. So most people know how to mirror, but I'll do it anyway. Because maybe not most people don't know how to mirror. So here I got this text, love life. This is on that project I'm making for Isabel. And I'm just going to move that text over. So there's a little tip for you. See, I'm moving it over. I have it highlighted and I'm using the arrow keys on my keyboard. And your arrow keys, you can use them to nudge things up and down, left and right. I use this all the time. All right, so over in the design area, when you get under transform objects, in order to mirror, there is the fourth icon in from the left. It says mirror selected objects. And you select that after you have your item selected, or select your item when you get in there. And then I'm going to simply flip this around the job center. So I've got the check box for flip around job center checked. And then I got to say flip horizontal. It says create a mirrored copy. I'm going to uncheck that. So it's just going to flip it and flip horizontal. And now there it is. Love life. Or how would you say that now? Ifil Ebol. Okay, so that's how you would start to reverse your text. And then, but if he wants to do it from the back side, you can do a two-sided job and do the back side first and then flip it over after you insert your thing. That inlay piece has to go all the way through. So your inlay piece has to be, your final cut has to be thicker. Mark Lindsay, please give your advice on this.
Yeah.
I definitely would like to see his input.
Okay, so here's a comment. He said, think a plug made of contrasting wood that goes all the way through and then some, and then gets planed down like a normal inlay.
Yeah. Yep. The big thing, Danny, is you make sure you use the same V bit.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing a V inlay. If you're doing a straight inlay, I don't know if I would do that all the way through.
That's what I'm sitting here going, I don't know.
Do it with the Aura mask and or not Aura mask, the Shaper Origin. That's such a beautiful tool. Somebody made a comment and I forgot to mention about it. They got the Origin. They mentioned it here. And I was like, oh man, that toy that I still want to get, but the boss won't let me. The boss is.
Dang it.
The girls, right? All right. But okay, I love this next question.
So Jim says, is there a good way to generate a spiral in Vectric? Ooh. Well, you've got Vectric pulled up there, so. Yeah,
there is, and so this is another fun one. Okay,
you guys are bringing on your A game tonight.
Yeah,
I need like some more coffee or something. It's been a long. You guys have those long days in the shop where you're just like.
Yeah.
You're just like ready to come over. That's today.
Right. Okay. So to answer your question, you cannot create it with the Vectric that you download. You have to get the spiral gadget. So I don't remember which ones have the gadgets. I think it's the Pro versions and Aspire. But desktop, Cut 2D desktop and Cut and VCarve desktop do not have gadgets if I remember. So up in the top menu where it says File, Edit, Model, Machine, Toolpaths, etc., there is a tab that says Gadgets. And you can, let's see, install a new gadget. There's About Gadgets. There's Wrapping. Where's the one that says Get Gadget?
I think you have to go to Install New Gadget.
I think
it takes you to the
no, the install is one that you've downloaded, and gadget shortcuts. Let's see what that is. Nope. Come on, it's been a long time since I put a gadget in here. So you can get these off of the Vectric site, and I know some Greg, if you would share, if you remember how to get a gadget. But I'm going to go to the Vectric website, so I can do that by going to the little question mark that is right up next to the little arrow that you switch from design. That little arrow right at the upper left. There's a question mark there, and it's going to bring up the Vectric, and I think I can get it from there. I think. I'm going to type that in. Gadgets, installed gadgets. Oops. I apologize, guys. It's been quite a while since I've been doing the gadgets. Watch the comments there, Kate. See if somebody can tell me exactly how to get to the gadgets. There's a spiral gadget. That's what I'm trying to get to. Let's do a search. Google search. Gadget, Vectric Gadgets Home version 12. Okay, what do we have here? Here we go. Okay, so do a search for Vectric Gadgets V12, and I think it's under Drawing.
I'm looking.
There it is. No, Spiral Calculator. Bingo. Right there. It's a little goofy to work with. I've played with this spiral, and okay, so I just downloaded the spiral gadget, and we're going to go over to.
Okay, so it's under wrapping.
Under what?
Well, you can either go ahead and do what you're doing, but under, yeah, go ahead and do what you're doing.
Yeah, just go ahead and tell me. So I just installed the spiral gadget. Now it should be.
So under wrapping, all the way at the very bottom, or okay, spiral.
Okay, wrapping. Oh, right there.
Yeah, and then it's spiral layout.
Spiral layout. Okay. Well,
so there's that.
Created current job is not a wrapped rotary job, so you can't do a spiral that way. You can. Okay. So I'm assuming this is a spiral on a flat surface because I haven't played with my rotary yet. So there's a spiral on a wrapped surface. That's so cool. Okay. Yeah, that's under gadgets. Make sure you check out gadgets, folks. Here's the spiral toolpath. It's a tough cookie to play with. It takes a little bit to figure out. I'm just going to type in some numbers to see what happens. Logarithmic, Archimedes, and width times around. I'm going to do 5 times around and whatever else. Let's see what it creates. Close. There's my spiral.
Nice.
Yeah.
So Jim said yes on a flat, and they are saying that the wrapping was for rotary.
Yeah, I saw that. Wrapping is rotary. Thank you, folks. That's why I love this. So they have the spiral gadget. If you have Cut 2D desktop, I think it'll take that. I'm sorry, Cut 2D Pro, VCarve Pro, and Aspire. You can get the gadget. If you have the desktop versions, you can't do it.
Nope. Yeah, that's really cool. The gadgets are really, I think, an underutilized.
Oh, so much. When I was at the Vectric show, Kyle introduced me to a guy that writes gadgets.
Oh.
And he did a gadget that I really want to try out, and I can't remember what it was. But
Speaking of rotary, I don't know if you guys have seen Onefinity owners. Onefinity has come out with a new plug and play rotary that goes with any model of the Onefinity, which I think is so cool.
Yeah, I saw that today. They sent that email out today.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you got Onefinity, that rotary's out. Yeah, are you gonna get it?
I have some other purchases I'm trying to get under wraps first.
Yeah. Getting a CNC machine is like perpetual Christmas shopping. And you can always get someone else to buy you something. Say, what do I get for you for Christmas? Oh, I need a new beast router bit. Or
it's so funny because my parents were like, what do you want for Christmas? My husband's like, what do you want for Christmas? Because for those of you who don't know, my anniversary is December 2nd, and my birthday is actually on Christmas Day. And so I get double the gifts. And so they're always like, what do you want? I'm like, I want a new spindle and I want a new dust boot. And they're like, you what? Because I've always been like a super girly girl. So I'm always like, I want this like new purse and I want these new boots. And now I'm like, I want some new router bits and I want a new dust boot and I want to upgrade my spindle and I want a new table from a bigger CNC that's coming. I want all the things. And they're just like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I'll send you a link. Don't worry about it.
There you go. Hey, folks, we got 10 more minutes to get your questions in because we got a stack of 12 questions right now. We will get those questions answered, but if you want to get your questions in, then please get them in the next 10 minutes. Also, Julianne Liberty, just please make note of these questions. I mentioned this earlier to Julianne before we started. Because I'll make content if it's a good enough question. I've seen a problem before. I will definitely shoot a video on it. Okay, so Butch said Kyle Ely has a video and lesson in his course for using the spiral gadget.
Yeah, sorry, I have to tell you guys, Onefinity just hopped on the video. They're in the comments. Hey,
what's going on there, guys?
Hey, what's going on? I was just telling them about the new Onefinity Revolution, the new rotary tool that fits all Onefinities. I think that's so awesome. I'm so pumped. Yeah. And then I also saw that they also said this week that JTech has come out with a new laser. It's the new 64-watt laser, and it has 3 different modes. So I believe you can do, we would have to look again. I don't want to misspeak. But I want to say it's either, and I think you can go as low as 14, or if it might be 24. I think it might be 24, 44, and 64 is the highest one. So I'm super pumped about that.
Okay. Hey, Onefinity guys, you got to get a hold of us. So we had talked to y'all briefly. Julianne and I had a Zoom call with you guys. We want to get you on the live. Right, there's a ton of your machine users out here. We need to get you on here so they can ask the questions. I'm going to bring their rotary up on the website, so y'all can see. There we go. Here's the Onefinity rotary. So there it is, right there. Yeah,
so awesome.
And you can pre-order right now. So, pre-order starts on the 25th. So, Onefinity guys, you can use a plugin on your website that will allow people to be notified when it gets stocked. We do that on our website. It's just a little business tip for you all. We do that on our website. So if something's out of stock, people want it, they have a button there, they press it instead of the shop now, buy now button that's notify me, right? And it'll send them a text and an email. So sharing my business secrets.
Yeah, and also I love the Onefinity. They have a program that actually allows users like myself, if you wanted to, you can actually upgrade your Onefinity and send in only certain parts of the CNC, and then upgrade to a new, and then you send them back your parts that you no longer would need, and then that empowers veterans and military, all the good people. I want to say like firefighters, paramedics, or not paramedics, you know what I'm saying? Firefighters, police, all the good stuff. So I'm really excited.
Okay. Let's see. I wanted to answer bring up a comment here. Okay. Yeah, Onefinity, make sure you get hold of Julianne within the next couple of days because we are doing something that you will want to know about. Okay. Doggone it. So there was a comment about the SLB. There it is. So the super longboard supports closed loop stepper motor. That's for the Vortex. It supports closed loop stepper motors across the board. So you can convert any of your CNCs, right? So speaking of Onefinity, someone out there took the Onefinity with the touchpad and whatever board, and they converted it over to the SLB, the super longboard, right? You can convert any machine that's Arduino based. Onefinity is not Arduino based, and they still did it. So, yeah, and it supports the closed loop. So what that means for long mill users, a closed loop, for anybody who doesn't know, closed loop system is a system where the controller, the CNC controller and the computer are talking to each other. So if it's an open loop, it's just sending signals to the motor. And if you lose steps, and this is a big one for why you might want super longboard, but you'd have to upgrade your motors. But if you lost a step, the machine's going to stop because they're talking to each other. That's closed loop. Open loop, they don't talk to each other. All right, so it will never know if you lose steps.
All right. All right. Are we ready to take some more questions?
Yep. Let's rock it out.
All right. I think we're ready for Brian C.
Yep. Another question for me. I'm going to get some cake questions going on here. Oh,
hey, last week was I talked a lot. So this week, apparently, it's all you.
All right. Well, I talk every week, Kate.
That's fair.
We get you back on every week, then you'll be talking every week too. But we're working in that direction for sure. Okay, this comes from Brian. Garrett, do you use an Xbox controller with your alt mill? If so, can you do a video setting on the exit? All right, brother, don't waste your time. Julianne, get the link, or Liberty, get the link. It's time to drink. Get the link for the touchpad that they're coming out with. Oh, what? I got to bring them. Do you need to come on? Okay, no. Liberty's going there. Oh, one. I was like, do I need to bring her on? And she go, no. Anyway, yeah. So the CNC Labs is coming out with the touchpad, the mounted touch screen. It's literally a computer, right? So that's what you want to get, Brian, and it's going to be mounted right to the machine. If you want to do the Xbox controller, enough people do that, I might as well. Liberty, should we do that for the other machine? Should we do it for your machine?
I love my Xbox controller with my Onefinity.
All right, well, there you go.
It has all the different modes on it. Right. Each letter's like, I call it
I'll look into it, yeah. I'll look into it. I did get a controller. It's like a little game controller, a little cheesy one. It didn't work right. I got it to work, but I threw it in the garbage. It was a little cheap. Yeah, it was a cheap one. I just bought cheap. Folks, don't buy cheap. When it comes to CNC, don't go cheap first. I put out the Ultimate CNC Router Buyer's Guide, right? Because there's no buyer's guide out there for anybody. So I put out a buyer's guide that talks about what you need to look for in the CNC and the things to think about before you actually make your purchase. All right. And what would you say for someone who's looking for a machine, some of the things that they should really take into consideration that you didn't think about before you actually had your machine and started running it and saw a new opportunity with it, or limitations that you ran into with it?
Well, I wish I could give you like a really horrible story, but I can't, because I'm going to be 100% honest. I bought a Onefinity. Team Onefinity. I honestly, I looked for all of the things in the machine because I knew this was going to be a really big purchase. I wanted a machine with really good rigidity. I knew that I did not want any type of wheels or something that would come loose, because I knew that I was going to be cutting mainly hardwoods. So I really liked that. I felt like the company itself was, the guys behind it were really invested in the company. I felt like they were going to keep moving forward. It wasn't a company that had been around for ages and ages and ages. And that's exactly what Onefinity has done. I really like the fact that if I had bought a smaller model at the time, I could easily upgrade only by upgrading my X-Rail. I didn't have to do anything else, and I wouldn't have to rebuild the entire machine or sell the entire machine. They had the upgrade program. They've done a lot of really cool things. I bought the Journeyman X50, and that was the biggest, baddest model that they had. I watched a ton of review videos. There are naturally bad videos out there about any machine, any product, but I feel like the operator has a lot to do with that. So I tried to pick really reputable sources that I knew could buy the machine that I wanted. And I knew I was doing it for my business. It wasn't for me for a hobby. So I was really invested in it. It wasn't just like a quick and dirty decision, if you will.
Right. So I want to take this a little bit further. So one of the first things that Kate said was rigidity. That's the mother of all CNC, because a machine that lacks rigidity is going to make you do a lot of sanding.
Yeah.
The things that's one of the things that actually is covered in the guide. Make sure you guys get a link for the guide linked up in the comments and down in the description of the video. But I also talk about thinking about what you might want to be making, because sometimes we buy a machine based on the price, and we're doing two things. Number one, we're not gauging the quality of the machine and the company first. And then the second thing is, when you're buying on price, you're generally getting smaller equipment, and you will find fairly quickly that is limited. That the smaller machine is going to limit you, and we just don't think about that. We might, you just realize that as you get the machine, you start making stuff. I want to go bigger, but you don't have the ability because the machine's not big enough to handle it.
Yep. And the other thing I really looked for when I was buying mine was, is it capable of attachments? That was the other big thing, because I knew. So I have actually right over here next to me is my 38-inch vinyl cutting machine that I had used. And I was like, it's really hard to try and incorporate a stencil and then try to get the CNC program to exactly where the stencil is going to lay out. So I figured out if I could have a small laser, and then that could cut through the ore mask or do whatever I wanted to do, I could up the size of the projects that I was doing, whether I was doing actual carving or just doing laser etching.
All right.
So attachments was a big thing for me too.
Okay. All right. Okay. So Onefinity said they're about to go live talking about the rotary. Guys, don't do it during my show. Okay. Don't steal my show, dude. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna have to pop over to that. So we'll have to get a link for that. So Julianne, no, we'll just find it. Yeah, find it and we'll check that out. Okay, let's handle another question. And go ahead. You can handle this one.
Yeah. Carrie here in Colorado here, Garrett. I'd like to see videos using the Beast bit. I'd like the toolpaths for roughing and then finishing. The bit kind of scares me. I have seen that a lot, Carrie. I've seen many people say they're afraid of the Beast and the hog bit. The quickest and easiest way that I have found to do these, and I know you directed the question to Garrett, but I use these bits a lot, and this is personally what I do, is you can go the full depth. And I've done it on hardwoods. I actually have a video on women who CNC. It's kind of a goofy video, but I did it testing it with hardwoods, just using painter's tape and seeing how much force the bit would give just with my Makita router and giving that beast a full run for its money and how fast I could run it. So you can go over to my channel and check that out. The other thing is when you're doing this is if it says it can run it at 3/4 inch deep in walnut, try it. Do some test runs. Don't get like your fanciest piece of wood and test it out. Do some different test runs. You know, feel it out. A lot of people recommend using either screwing it down, using double-sided tape and screws if you want to do something like that, depending on what you're cutting. But use it to the full depth, and then for your final toolpath cutout, you can just do a profile toolpath, do a last pass, and do it at full depth. Go in and clean it out, and then it's done. You can use an allowance if you want. You can use a really, really small allowance. I mean, I've done lots of videos like that where it's the Tree of Life video it's also on my YouTube. And I actually think I discussed that at depth. So that might bring you a little bit of help.
Yeah. I will work on that. I guess that is certainly one to make a video on. So let's get that on our video list, Julianne. So I'm going to bring the girls out just because they're hanging in the background. So Liberty and Julianne hanging out in the background. We got to give them the spotlight once in a while because they spend their time here doing whatever they're doing. And so how things going there for you guys? Liberty, how things going in the shipping department?
Pretty good. Things are picking up for the season, trying to keep everybody moving, everybody happy. But yeah, things are picking up for the season, so we're feeling it.
Yeah. And what about you, Julianne? How's it going on that end?
It's going.
Yeah. Folks, I've moved and I do most of my stuff here at my house now, so I don't see the team as much, and it's weird. It's weird for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
very much so.
I can't imagine how many parties they're having.
We fix popcorn and share Cheez-Its. That's about it.
Oh, okay, there you go.
And fix printers.
Yes, yeah, disassemble and fix printers. It's our side hustle.
Yeah, but each one of them has their own space now. Hey, I want to remind everybody, next week we have Kyle Ely on board with Vectric, right? Thanks, ladies. Kyle is going to answer your Vector questions, and after that we have Matt from 731 Woodwork, and so two good shows coming. Really excited. All right, Jerry.
All right, question. I see the IDC website, you promote a bit called the Jenny Bits. Can you tell us the difference between the IDC and Jenny Bits? Do you also provide the feeds and speeds for the Jenny Bits?
Okay, love the question. So first of all, let's go to the website. I'm going to share again. So, okay, so we should be sharing. Let's go back to the homepage. And so on the IDC website, if you are a Jenny Bit user, Jenny Bit lover, IDC Woodcraft now inventories Jenny Bits. So they're on the website. You can just scroll down to the category Jenny Bits, and they are all there. Every single bit that Cody puts out, we have on our store. And so I just want to make sure that you know about that. And very excited to have that partnership with Cody. So what's the difference? Not a whole lot. Cody does have all his bits zirconium carbonitride coated. We don't have all of our bits coated. We have some of them coated, and we're working on getting the rest of them coated. Coating actually costs quite a bit of money, believe it or not. $1 a bit is what coating costs. It costs us $1 a bit. All right, so that's quite a bit. Anyway, other than that, there's not a lot of difference. It's just that I have known Cody for probably a good 4 years now. Right? I've watched him grow. He's watched me grow. We've talked a lot. about business and about the community. And Cody has the same values that I do. All right. As far as he wants to make sure he takes care of, he wants to put out a good product. He's a good with the customers, really cares about what he does. And he took a dive off the deep end and bought himself a $500,000 machine to start making router bits. It was because I know him, and he's got a good product. All right. So, and it was business wise, it's a good move to partner up. All right. So as far as getting the feeds and speeds, we're actually was it Monday this week or last week? I think it was this week, but no, it's last week. But we're working on it with the tech guy. All right. We're getting the database updated with Cody's feeds and speeds. We're waiting for Cody to give us some updates in this feeds and speeds, and then we'll update our database with his bits as well, and then we will populate them on the phone app as well. So if you don't have the phone app, then you go to your app store and search IDC Woodcraft, and you can get all your feeds and speeds right here, right in the phone app.
Handy, very handy.
Yeah, people ask me, why would I need an app for my phone for my CNC? And a couple of people would come back and say, okay, I use it all the time.
Mm-hmm. I said the same thing. Don't worry, it's okay.
Yeah.
Hey, which bit is it? All of his V bits that are down shear?
Are all his bits down shear?
Or he has? I thought he had one bit that was it was like he said it was the world's first down shear V bit.
So he was a down shear V bit, yeah. And
okay.
That is on site as well. All of his bits are on site. So the idea with the down shear V bit is that it will leave a cleaner edge on top, because that's how down bits cut, mm-hmm. right? They leave a nice clean cut on the top. And actually, he's got the design, and it's a worthwhile inventorying that as well.
Okay, very cool. Very cool.
So I haven't cut with that one yet.
I haven't either. I'm interested to try it for sure. So
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. So there you go. Put a link if you haven't done it already, put a link for the Jenny bits into the comments and down below in the description. So yeah, it was a good partnership. Cody and I talked about it for a little bit, and actually I brought it up to him. I said, Cody, I think it's about time we get your bits on the site too.
Well, I think that says a lot about the both of you, that you both can work together and sell. I don't want to say competitor, because competitor is a bad word. You're collaborating together. You're helping each other grow each other's business. And that's really remarkable. And I think that says a lot about you and Cody both, that you both want the best for the community, and you're willing to support each other in your businesses. And you don't see that today. So I just want to commend both of you for doing that partnership and working together and doing that for the community and working with the feeds and speeds, because what both of you are doing is making such an enormous difference in so many people's lives, and really taking the struggle and the frustrations out of CNCing. And I think that's what's bringing a lot more creators into the space, is knowing that all of this help and all of these videos and all this content and good bits, and not having to run through 27 different Amazon bits. You can buy good quality bits all in one place, or on IDC or from Cody or wherever you choose to buy them from. But the main thing is you're supporting creators and makers at the end of the day, and that's really what it's about. Because I would much rather support you or support Cody than support some knucklehead over in China that's making bits and they're just going to break in the first 15 or 20 minutes I'm using them. So,
all right. So Flip Flop Pilot said none of the IDC bits list chip load. Why? And Greg from STL Woodworking answered that. Well, he said chip load depends on what you're running. Wood is a challenging material to develop chip loads for. But we are working on that. because people do ask that. So we are getting that data collected and get that into the app. So in the meantime, the app does have a chip load calculator in it, so you can use that. But when you're brand new, here, folks, here's what I want to tell you. Okay, it's the people who are used to machining at production levels that need to know chip loads. If you're generally just making stuff, then you're like just general projects, chip load doesn't matter so much because it's another level of knowledge to know. Right. So we start off with the feeds and speeds that we put out, which are conservative, so that because I don't want you to break the bits. All right. And then as you get a feel for it, you start to turn up your feeds and speeds until you're comfortable with it. Each material has its own feeds and speeds, basically. And it can be kind of hard to come up with all those feeds and speeds, plus the variability in wood.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Let's handle another question. Let's do Gary.
All right. I think this is the clarification from what he was doing, the question he asked earlier. He says, I was carving some fonts with a 30-degree bit, and after a while I noticed when I set it up, I did not have the bit cutting deep enough. Also, letters were too close together. Bit needed deeper.
Oh, it sounds like he's probably doing a profile on letters, like maybe handwritten letters. Does that sound like that to you?
I don't know that it would be. I don't know that it's necessarily handwritten.
No, some fonts. No, he's doing fonts.
Oh, okay. I did not have the. So basically, if the bit's not cutting deep enough, you basically just need to go back in, re-edit it in Vectric, and then save your G code and reload the file.
All right. Yeah, I think it's about letter space, and I remember him talking about that too.
Yeah.
So okay. So for those of you who are using Vectric version 12 or higher, I will show you. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to undo the love life if I can. Nope, it won't let me do it. So I'm just going to type in some new words into here. And let's see, we'll type subscribe. Gee, hint. Let's change the font. Okay. So there's also the simple line type font, but let's see if I can find up some of this stuff here. Oh, I don't know why. No, that's not what I want.
I hate that some of those fonts do that. It drives me crazy.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the deal is. So there's some simple line font. That's what I'm kind of figuring is maybe working with, something like that. Letters are too close together like that. So when you're in the text editing mode, okay, this is in version 12 and above. While you're editing text, you can look at the mouse cursor, and I'm unable to zoom in to show you right now, but when you hover your cursor between letters, there is this, your cursor changes. There's like a little V or something. There's two little arrows, and right now they're pointing inwards. And when that cursor is showing that and I start clicking, now I can start moving the letters together. If I push the control button, it's the shift button. Let me move over. If you hold the shift button down, you can start moving them apart. Now, if you hold control it'll change the spacing a lot more. If you hold control and shift, it'll change the spacing a lot more too. So just hover between a letter and you can change the spacing of those letters. And I think if you do the Alt, it'll do all the letters at one time.
Yep.
And then Shift Alt, it will do all the letters at one time as well.
Yeah, it makes it nice keeping things, even if you're using more block lettering.
Yeah. Now, if you have a Vectric version 11.5 or beyond or earlier, there's a separate icon for that. And I have too many windows open. I'd have to close in order to get to the I guess I could find it. VCarve, there it is. VCarve 11.5. Bring that up. Then just create a file and do some text. Boy, that screen looks so different. I'm really glad they updated it. Good show, guys. Okay, there we go. So I can't do that spacing here. So in version 11.5 or below, there is next to your text icon,
Right there.
the icon in the middle. It says edit text spacing and curve, right? So when you're in that function, you can grab the text and actually drag it like that, which is kind of cool. But you can also change the spacing. You'll see your cursor. I got a video that tells you how to do that. I did it a while ago. So just a quick, couple quick tips for you. There you go. Hope that helps, Gary.
There you go.
You can take this one, Kate.
All right. When you are trying V-carve with a 60-degree to carve lines, and the V-carve only wants to pocket out carve, what setting is wrong? When you're trying to V-carve with a 60-degree to carve lines, and the V-carve only wants to pocket out carve. So, okay, hold on. So you're using a 60-degree V to carve lines, and the V-carve only wants to pocket out the carve. Are you using the pocket toolpath? I'm guessing that's what you're doing, if I'm understanding the question correctly. Garrett, are you reading this question? Because I'm trying not to be a dum-dum here, but...
Sorry, I am messaging.
No, you're right.
In the back end there, so just give me a second.
No, you're fine. Let me see here. Hang on one second.
All right.
By the way that the question reads to me, if the V-carve is pocketing it out and it's clearing it out, you would be using a pocketing toolpath. You need to be using the profile toolpath, because a profile is just going to go on the outside perimeter and then give you that nice square. That's what I'm guessing.
To pocket out carve, what setting is wrong? Pocketing out. Oh, I see what he's doing.
No using V-carve.
Yeah, it's got the flat depth turned on.
Well, that shouldn't matter.
Well, let's see if he's doing a V carve with a bit, and it wants to pocket out the carve, so it's doing all that moving around.
Well, I'm thinking maybe he might have two vectors, like instead of selecting what. So, like if you have a, I don't know, I might need a little more.
Well, Les, I want you to check this, because I'm going to go with my assumption, and then you can also check Kate's assumption as well. So I'm going to go into the software, and we're going to go over the tool path for V-carve. And when you go into V-carve, at the very top where it says your start depth, underneath that, there's a little checkbox that says flat depth. Make sure that's unchecked.
See, what I'm kind of wondering is if you're doing like a profile, and I'm thinking he might have like both vectors selected, and then he's just carving out the.
Yeah, but he's not. If he's doing a profile on it, he said he's trying to V-carve with a 60. So I'm assuming he's using a V-carve toolpath
to carve lines. So he's just doing lines, and V-carving only. The V-carve wants to pocket out the carve.
Yeah. Nothing will be pocketed if you don't have a pocket toolpath called up. And the only two that I know that does a pocket right off the bat is a V-carve flat depth and a pocketing toolpath. But if you're doing a single line, it can't pocket the line.
True.
Unless he's in a closed vector.
Yeah. Okay, so pull up vector. I mean, this should not be a complicated question. There's just too many. There's a lot of different variables.
So, okay, got it.
So go in and do what you're.
Okay, so do the flat depth V-carve.
Yeah.
Okay, let me make a new change my text here. Change my font to something that I can actually V-carve. And we'll do Times New Roman. It works for me. Okay, so we're going to make this really big. Man, I'm messing up Isabel's project.
Yeah, Control Z is good for that.
Yeah, I've saved it already. So, okay, I'm not even going to give it some style, and we're going to do the subscribe like that. You know what? I'm going to move it onto a new layer. That way I'm not messing with anything else. Delete. I'm going to move that to a layer. Move to layer, new layer. We'll call this test layer. Okay. And I'll turn all the other layers off. Bing, bing. Oop. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to make it even bigger because this is a deep piece of material. All right. So we're going to do a V-carve on this. I'm going to use the 60-degree V-bit, which is called up. I'm going to turn on the flat depth. We're going to set a flat depth to 0.03. And I'm going to carve that. Okay, and we're only going to do it reset, and we're going to do, oops, turn all those off, and just turn that one on, preview, selected toolpath. So what is happening here is the V-bit is, you see how it's really rough. What it's doing is flat depthing everything, if that's a word.
It is tonight.
It is today. Let me turn the speed down on that. And there we go. So what you're looking at right here is the bit is going back and forth as it's clearing out the material.
Mm-hmm.
It's doing a flat depth on it. Right. So it's doing so much work there. That's because that flat depth tool is turned on. Now, if I stop that, go back into V-carve and turn off the flat depth, it's going to cut really deep, but that's okay. I'm going to calculate that again, reset the preview, selected toolpath, and now it is.
It's going to give you that nice poignant.
It's such a deep. It's so deep right now that it's taken many passes with this particular bit. But now you can see we got a nice clean V-carve there.
Yeah.
So that would be the flat depth tool. In my perspective, that's what it is.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not on my A game tonight. If you can't tell.
Hey, that's okay. All right. Well, let's hope we helped you out on that one. All right. Sadek, Melahoff, what is the best vector drawing app for designing complex V-carve cutting boards like Brainwood? I got to look at Brainwood.
Well, best vector drawing app. I really like Inkscape. I'd say Corel could be good.
Corel Draw?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Adobe. I mean, those are all, really great ones. I really like Vectric just because I don't have to do a lot of node editing and things like that. Once everything transfers over, it's just easier.
Yeah. So we are both Vectric users. So, but Inkscape and CorelDRAW, Adobe, right? There's always there's a ton of them out there. If you want to do it for router work, then what do you got? Fusion 360. You got Carveco.
Carveco.
Yeah.
I really like, personally, if you want to use more of a free platform, I really like Inkscape. I don't know how much CorelDRAW is, but
okay,
Inkscape's great. If it's just, there's a lot of tutorials and it's like any other program, it just takes a lot of time, but Vectric's great. I mean, they've really come a long way, especially with the new V12 out. If you haven't upgraded and you're still in the 11 and you want to really up the ante, I would suggest investing in the new Vectric software. I think it's a great way to do things.
Yep. Okay. All right, Wayne, how do you add a roundover bit with a point into the form tool category? Would love to use a 1/4 and 1/8 IDC bits, but not loaded into the tool database yet. Quick and easy solution, my friend. I got a video that talks about the form tool, but just go to the IDC Woodcraft website and download the database, and it'll already be in there. So, folks, for those of you who are Vectric users, Carb Go, Carbide Create, did I say Fusion 360? Yeah, that's it. IDC Woodcraft. Let me share. IDC Woodcraft, right at the very top, it says database downloads. Click there, and there are your downloads right here. And all the settings are taken care of for you. So get your Vectric download, and everything's in it. All the bits that we have, except for the Jenny bits. We're working on it.
Got to start somewhere.
Yeah. There you go, Kate.
Let's see. Question. I recently carved an oval prayer bowl for a close friend using the molding feature. I was wondering, is there a way to add texture to a molding path? Make it look like it was hand carved. This is a really interesting question. I have been actually trying to do this a little bit myself because I'm working on redoing the crosses for our church and wanting to add some different features, not necessarily in a bowl format, but combining the two. I'm not going to lie, I don't have a lot of experience using the molding toolpath, so it's still kind of new to me. I would love to give you all the answers, but unfortunately, I don't know because there are so many things in Vectric, and I'm not going to lie, I have been not 100% on my game in the CNC world. I've kind of fallen off the wagon a little bit. I've really been putting a lot of my love and effort and time into my epoxy course I'm trying to work on. Is that terrible?
No. I'm seeing if anybody answered that question in the stream. I'm not seeing anything.
I wonder if Mark has a really great video on that.
I know Kyle. Come next week. Kyle can tell you. Kyle Ely will be here next week. Come next week. He will tell you. Yeah.
I know Ellen. I don't know if Ellen can help you too, but she's done a lot with the molding tool with Madra. Maybe she could help you, Ellen. I don't know if you could help him out, but maybe. I tell you what, who's really up the ante on her is Ellen's, man. She's becoming bad mammer jammer in the CNC world. So
yeah.
I think you need to have Ellen back on.
Yeah, we will. You know what? There's been a call to have another girls' night. So
oh, fun.
Look what Julianne's doing in the background over there. Huh? Well, I'm gonna bring them on. I'm gonna bring the ladies on board there. So should you guys have a girls' night, ladies' night?
Yeah, it was fun.
Mm-hmm. I'm down.
What's the vote, folks? Ladies' night? Put a yes in the comments.
Yeah, it was rather fun.
Yeah.
We need to start bringing in some more of our. We've had a lot more women joining our Women Who CNC group, so I'm excited.
Yep. Facebook group Women Who CNC. If you're a lady who does creating,
I'm seeing yes.
Yep.
That's what I thought.
Bearded Viking says nothing wrong with a ladies' night. Hell yeah, from Bruce.
Actually, you know what? Next time you guys do it, I will sit back and watch.
Oh, there you go.
I'll just sit back, watch. I'll comment like everybody else.
I was gonna say maybe we can have Garrett star the questions.
Oh yeah.
There we go. He can be our assistant.
And then you'll be saying, hey, Garrett, put this link in the comments. Put those links. I wouldn't know where the hell to go. This is how much the control these ladies have now, right?
Oh my gosh.
I have no idea how they run stuff.
Oh
They
my
really
god.
quick stuff. So, all right, cool. All right, 9:35. Let's try to knock out these last 3 questions.
All right, let's see here. Looks like Danny has another question for us. If you'll hit that one for me. I opened my IDC app for the first time in a while and all of my bits are gone. Did I do something wrong or are they just gone? Also, I see that the checklist is now in the app. Great work.
Yeah. So, Danny, I can't really tell you why they're out of your list, other than we do. Sometimes we do major updates, and that data might have been lost that way. But we'll make a note, Julianne, make a note for us to ask Richard why that might have happened. So if they're not there, you didn't do anything wrong. And the checklist is now in the app due to a large amount of requests. The IDC Woodcraft checklist is a checklist. You can have the printed copy that has that explains everything in the checklist. The checklist is a setup checklist because it's how many times you forgot to set your 0.
I actually did that. I almost did that today. I looked at it and I'm like, what is missing? What am I missing? And I had forgotten to hit to 0 all my axes right before I hit start because I was like, on, what is missing?
Yeah.
It's like I almost need to create like a carved checklist. I thought about making like a file.
You got the checklist, Kate. Or got it all made up for you.
I like to be extra. That's just the name of my game. Okay, I can't change who I am. But I want like a carved thing, like like a carved sign that I can just be like 0.
Yeah, make a carved checklist.
Yeah, see?
Yeah. It's got a full-blown checklist. I don't have it here, but it's checklist has to everything that you do. Of course, the link will be in the comments. Get the checklist if you don't have it. Start using it. It'll save you from forgetting. I saw, for those of you who know, I've mentioned it before, one guy, he lost his $3,000 table because he forgot to set his Z on an epoxy pour table, same size as the one that we've been working on. That surfacing bit drove right down into that thing.
I would lose my freaking mind.
Yeah, it's $1,500 worth of epoxy plus all the setup time, dry time, blah 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 blah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, you remember how much was epoxy we poured into your table the first time?
That was
and then I had to cut, and then I had to cut it all out, and then I had to re-pour it all. So. Mm-hmm. It's not fun. It's not fun when that kind of shit happens. I'm not gonna lie.
All right. Okay. There you go.
All right. Mr. Dave says, I want to create a cylinder pocket in a thick piece of wood with male and female matching threads in the wood or thread in a wood cap. Well, y'all are bringing the questions.
Yeah. I want to scroll down all the way back down the bottom of the feed. There we go. Oh. So the question, I want to create a cylinder pocket in a thick piece of wood with maple and female matching threads in the wood for thread in wood cap. So he wants to do some threading. All right. Well, it's just another video. We've been thinking about getting a threading tool here. So on board. Yeah, it's a little deeper dive right now and for the amount of time we have left. So come next week and Kyle can help you out with that one. That's a pretty deep question. It's actually like that would be stretching my skills and Kate's skills because neither one of us. Have you ever done threading?
No, I've looked into it before because Michael's asked me for a few different things, my husband, and I've looked at it, but I've never personally done it. And as you know, doing it in Vectric and doing it on the CNC you think are one and the same, but can be very challenging.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
All right. We got one more question here. And from Bruce.
It's for you again.
Yeah, Garrett, is there a link to a list of all your videos for ease of access to find a certain video? Ladies, did you throw a link in for that? Yeah, throw a link in the comments for the video list. So we do.
I think that is the best thing. YouTube creators like yourself and Mark and Kyle that could help people out. I think trying to look for certain videos when you have to filter through 9,000 videos is so frustrating, and it's just frankly kind of annoying.
Yeah.
So having a list would be so helpful for people.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead and give them the direct download too.
There you go.
All right. So there you go. So Bruce, yes, we do have a list. It's not updated for like maybe the last 6 videos I put out, maybe 10 videos, but and it's broken down by in order in which a beginner should watch them. Oh, that's a bit.ly link. We'll have to get that one changed to a Terminus link. And we got lots of links to fix. All right, Raise, you're still on. It's very cool. Yeah, we'll get to your bit, my friend. Bits, Cody. Don't worry, we'll be talking about those too. Okay, I guess that's kind of it. 2 drinks behind. All right. You know, now that I'm shooting from home, I can actually have like a real drink. I can bring the ladies on board. So there we go, because we are done with the questions, folks. And thank you for coming back there, Kate.
Oh yeah.
There, 2 drinks of water.
I wish I could have been more on my game tonight, but I think we all kind of know when we have just those very challenging days. I have 2 very, very intricate epoxy inlay logos that I am doing right now. One is not so much, but the other one is, yikes. It's a lot. Let me see if I can pull up a photo. And it's for a Labrador company. And holy smokes, I like want to just die every time I look at it because the lines on it are just bananas. Here, let me see. Can you guys see this? Maybe?
Ooh, I'm seeing some of the line work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
You guys see that?
Woo.
Yeah. So I'm having like
curves, lines, you got letters, you got everything.
I'm having like a minor moment of my brain, and the vectors are like this. And I have 2 of them that I'm currently doing, plus Garrett's table and some other things that I'm working on. So my brain is just like, think.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. And I don't know if you guys know, I have a new puppy too. He's
okay. So I saw the video about like something 2 puppies, and I was like, hang on a second. I thought she only had 1 puppy and then 1 old boy.
I do.
And so I kind of assumed it was your friends or whatever, but a new puppy.
Yes. We have 2 puppies. Well, yes, I help my girlfriend with her puppy occasionally, but they are 2 little black labs. They are 5 months old, and they're as cute as can be. By the way, I got my 2 signs hung up at the outside my big acrylic sign. The company owner loved it. Turned out real. Let me see if I can show you guys a photo. There it is.
Oh man! Yay.
Good.
Yeah, it's hanging up outside. It's 2-sided. It was acrylic. Yeah, so I was super excited to get that done. I got my other epoxy inlay sign done and hung. She was thrilled. You know, I feel like you just continually and perpetually learn things, because she's like, can you hang signs? I'm like, maybe
I can.
Let me go find a bit that I can drill in some mortar with and hang a sign. And
I so much want to CNC and cement just to do it.
You know,
Crazy.
I've been wanting to really, I kind of want to do a little bit of a deep dive into your diamond drag bit and the different types of materials that we could get really good results with, because I feel like that bit is so cool.
Yeah.
And there's so many things that I could like do.
Yeah,
I just love different projects, man. I'm like a project nerd. I just love all the different things that you can do.
I'm going to do another video with that diamond drag bit too. I've learned some things with it since then. All right. Well, folks, we are going to check out for the evening. Next week, we got Kyle Ely from Learn Your CNC. Bring your vector questions. And the following week, we have Matt from 731 Woodworks. You've seen him on YouTube, and we'll be bringing more people on.
Yeah. Hey, I just want to say one quick thing. Danny said, "Well done, Kate. Lasers are so much fun." That was not a laser project. That was all done with the CNC. That was actually I did an inlay. It has an acrylic inlay is what it did, but it was all done with the CNC and an O flute bit. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would love to use acrylic because I feel like that would have made it go 100 times faster, but new challenge, new video to roll out, and tell you guys all about it because it's pretty cool.
Right. Gary just made a comment. Said, Garrett, glad you have your own place. Looks great. I actually want to share a picture. What my sunrise looks like this morning and what my sunset looked like this evening. Insanely beautiful. So there is my sunset this evening.
Wow. That's beautiful.
That was literally the color, right? There's another picture of it right there. And my sunrise was in the morning before the sunrise.
Oh, that was so pretty.
Fog in the valley.
Wow. God's majesty is quite remarkable.
Yeah, that is off my back deck. Couldn't ask for more.
Place to sit and have a cup of coffee and watch that.
I do it every morning. Every morning. All right, folks. We will catch you next week. I want to say same bat channel, same CNC channel, same CNC time. The original Batman had the same bat channel, same bat time. That's why. That goes back to when I was less than 10 years old. Back before dirt was invented, kind of thing.
Oh, God, please.
We'll see y'all.